Well, hey there YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. And today on the channel we have an absolute monster. So just got the Clodbuster Gray Edition in yesterday, and not going to do a grand unboxing. I will get kind of everything laid out on the bench and show you what's going on, but the goal of today is to go ahead and get this thing built. You know, I know it does call for paint in the manual, but I'm thinking I'm probably not going to do paint on this one. You know, I didn't paint my black edition, and that one came out great looking. And as long as this doesn't have like crazy streaks or cast marks in it, I'm probably just going to go with the gray body. But I don't know. We'll see. I may swing by the hobby shop and pick some up. But I am looking forward to seeing what this looks like with the gray body, the gray wheels, the blue plastics. You know, I think this is going to look fantastic. Building it pretty much stock. I'm not doing any upgrades to it right away. This is probably going to stay stock, you know, being a limited edition, you know, just like the black edition. You know, I'm just going to leave it as is. I may put some Sport Tune motors in it just to give it a little bit more oomph, but other than that, it's just going to be stock. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get this thing ripped out of the box and get it all out on the bench, I hope. I don't know if I have enough bench to get it all out easily, but I'll get it all out, kind of do a once-over of it, and then I'm going to start cranking on it and get it built. Alright guys, so we have, you know, half of a truck, just missing the top. I'll get to that in a minute, but this has taken me 5 hours to get this done. Now, probably could have done it in 3 if 1, I was paying attention and didn't screw anything up, and 2, if I was really trying. Honestly, this was a kind of breath of fresh air for me right now to have something to build. But unfortunately, it took me a little bit longer. I did make some mistakes, things I'll point out to you to make sure you don't make them. But, you know, unfortunately, there's just an awful lot going on all up in here at the moment. And, you know, focusing at the moment right now is not my forte. I'm not going to get into it, but there's an awful lot going on. But anyway, one of the things is I got both of the gearboxes put together and was getting the motor and everything in it and realized I did it again. There is a nut that goes on the inside of the gearbox that you have to put in before the gearbox is assembled. So please pay attention to step 14. This is the third clod buster I've built, and this is the third time that I have screwed that up and forgotten. I do think last time on the Black Edition I only missed it on the front one and I caught it on the second one. But this time, once again, I built kind of both cases, and the screw doesn't go in because it doesn't have a nut to go into. So I tear those back apart. Otherwise, everything goes together fairly well. The only issue I had, other than screwing up the gearbox and having to do all that twice, was this ESC thing. Seems like it's a good ESC, but I had to take the motor wires off of the Sport Tuned and the original motors, the silver cans, and swap them over. Because the Sport Tunes, they're like 3 inches long, and the ones that come on the kit motors, those are like the 6-inch, 7-inch long leads. Because you need that much lead to get both motors up and then connected to the speed control. So the issue with the speed control I had is the leads coming off of it are too short. They need to be an inch longer. You have plenty of motor wire, but the problem is the leads on the motor or on the ESC want to have all the bullet connectors laying right here in the chassis. And the problem with that is there's no room for the motor wire, the big bullet leads. You can get the motor wires to go in between the top tray and the chassis sides, but the bullet, you get 4 of those bullet connectors in there trying to cram that in there, and you're bulging out the side of the chassis. I tried it a couple different ways. The first time was coming out on the factory side, so there's a pre-cut notch in this side, which I never really understood that one. It makes more sense to come up on the opposite side because the servo sits over here. And then you have all your linkage and stuff over here. So you would think you would want to route the wires away from, this twisty-turny servo horn and all those linkages and everything. But no, they have all the motor wires coming up right here, right above all that. So it didn't want to work either way well. So I just decided, we're just going to kind of cut some stuff and make some modifications. So I got a little notch in the upper plate, got the motor wires in there, and instead of mounting it back in this back area or anywhere else, I basically had to mount it to the top of the tray towards the front, which is a little bit higher than I would want. I would like to have it back down in here, when it's recessed. But the other problem with these Hobby Wing ESCs is they're not Tamiya kit compatible, and that's so frustrating. If Hobby Wing is making the ESCs for the Tamiya kits underneath of a Tamiya part number, put the damn Tamiya plug on it. There's a spot right in the side of the chassis over here for a plug to mount. But the wire on this thing is this long, and the only thing you can do is attach it to the ESC or double side tape it and hope it's going to stick. I don't know. The Hobby Wing ESCs are great ESCs, but not for Tamiya unless you put the switch on it that Tamiya has been using for decades and accommodates their chassis. Put a 4-inch lead on it with a big old switch, a nickel switch on the side of it instead of this fancy little waterproof deal. I digress. I will stop complaining now. We made it work. We stuck it to the top of the tray. We got the wires out of the way, and everything seems to be working. I did put a high-speed 45 kg servo in this, so it does have more than enough torque to turn the tires. The bad thing is these goofy little servo saver deals on the tires won't allow it to turn. So it just kind of moves the transmission around as it's flexing, and the little servo savers are just going, hey. And I don't really want to make those tighter because then that's going to put a whole ton of stress on the bottom of this. But when you take load off of it and when you're driving, the wheels turn nice and fast, and they work well. And speed wise, it has the death wobble, hovering above the bench. You'll see that in a second. speed-wise, it's going to have plenty for this big old chunk of truck. So overall, it's a great build. The two things to pay attention to is, one, make sure you put the servo in correctly. So the top lead should go to the front, the bottom lead should go to the back. I really don't think it makes much difference, but you know, just pay attention to when you put it in there to flip those rods the right way. Make sure you put that nut inside the transmission. Other than that, your fingers are going to hurt. Getting all these little plastic pieces snapped onto those ginormous brass balls is a pain, especially these four here. Most of the rest of them, you can get a pair of pliers on and clip them on. It's not that big of a deal. Some of them are a little bit tighter and more frustrating than others. Those you can't get pliers on, so you just have to manhandle those on, and they're tough. So the body, for the most part, looks nice. You know, I love the gray. Sadly, gonna have to paint it. Mostly because in the front end, and I'll take a quick picture of it, there's two stress marks where the body mounts and trusses are mounted into the body. And, you know, you can feel them, you can see them, and there's also multiple, you know, marks down the rail. This would probably be hidden mostly by stickers. Sadly, this isn't, and there's some other, you know, inconsistencies on the roof, which, you know, none of that's going to be hidden either. So unfortunately, I am going to have to paint this. It kind of sucks. I was really hoping to get away without painting the body. So if you were planning on buying this to, you know, have and enjoy and beat and run around and probably topple it over and scrape up the body, you know, don't worry about painting it. You know, the minor defects are just, you know, superficial, and you can barely tell. The front you can definitely see a little bit more, but the rest of it you can barely tell. I would just slap stickers on it and run it. For me, it's kind of a collector piece, so it's going to be run, but it's not going to be run hard. I'm not going to try to roll it over and scratch it all up or anything. So unfortunately, we're going to have to paint it. So that's going to take another day or so because it's like 50 degrees outside and wet. So it's getting there. It's almost a truck. A little bit of paint. Hopefully it's in stock at my local hobby store. If not, that's going to be a pain. But anyway, guys, I'm probably going to wrap it up for this one just as a quick build series or quick build video. Sorry I didn't get a whole lot of pictures during the build. You know, like I said, I've got a ton going on up here, and I took some pictures up front and then completely forgot about it and just kept building. So, you know, kind of this is a built, and this is kind of what it looks like. And watch out and don't do the dumb things that Addam did. Everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you on the next one. See you guys. I did put a high-speed 45 kk. I did put a high-speed, got the wiring in there